Alright, how to fix the United States income tax system. Well, you know, back when I was in college, I had some free time, and I looked into the income tax. You know, it got its origins in the 1800s, really got going in 1913 with the Federal Reserve. And back then they told us it was only going to be 7%. Things change. Well, if you look at it historically, it seems like every so many years they totally changed not just the tax brackets, but they also changed the percentages, they changed the monetary values, everything completely changes. So, based on real historical figures, real accepted, you know, tax bracket systems of the past, I'm able to draw together my own tax system. I'm not a real big fan of the income tax, but this is what I would do. Now, what I would do, historically, the first tax bracket at one point went as high as $45,200. So my first bracket would go up to $45,200, and historically the lowest percentages attributed was actually 0% in the first tax bracket. So in my opinion, if you make less than $45,200 a year, you shouldn't have to pay an income tax. That's it. I mean, you look at it that way. You know, here's the unfortunate piece of information. All right, over 50% of Americans today earn less than $30,000 a year. So under my plan, the vast majority of Americans won't even pay an income tax. They'll be able to keep that money. And in fact, in a sense, it would be kind of a tax break for every American because they would be able to keep at least $45,200 of their own. You could bank on that. Now, another thing I would do is I would make it, you know, somewhat of a fair tax. A lot of people talk about a fair tax. Is it really a good thing? The idea that you give everyone a standard percentage rate and everyone has to pay that. No, it's not exactly a really fair tax if that's all you do, because the people who are really low income, the people who are really down and out, a higher percentage of their income is going to bare necessities. They can't really pay so much of a tax, while wealthy people have a lot more money to play with. So under my tax system, we're going to do what the Federal Reserve said. We're going to make it so you only have to pay 7% of your income as an income tax if you make over $45,200 up to a certain point. So that's my plan for that. And that would mean that the vast majority of Americans, again, would either have to pay no income tax or just 7%. Now, for the extremely wealthy Americans, here we go. Historically, the highest tax bracket actually occurred at $5 million. So, that's my tax bracket. And get this, the highest percentages attributed to a tax bracket altogether actually began in the early 1950s. And it was at $2 million. And it wasn't 50%, wasn't 60%, wasn't even 75%. It was 94%. Again, we still had plenty of billionaires. So in my opinion, if you make over $5 million a year, you should have to pay 94% income tax. And it's not that I'm trying to beat up on rich people, because if you really look at it, those who make $2 million and less, those actually tend to be the people who actually help the economy. The really wealthy people are already hiding their money, all right? So it isn't like we're going to lose that much. And the thing is that, I mean, you know, I gotta be honest, when I give government a lot of money, I feel bad because government does really a lot of bad things with money, but wealthy people, they tend to be a revolving door in government. They tend to buy influence. They tend to buy lobbyists, write their own laws, get their own tax breaks, control communities. So, I mean, it's kind of a safeguard in a sense. That money, I'd rather see going to help people than just sitting in a bank account. Because you look at it, billionaires, you know, if you gave them all the free time in the world, they still wouldn't have enough time to buy the amount of clothing, buy the amount of cars to equal middle-class workers. All right, so it doesn't matter how much money you give them, they're not going to have the same effect on the economy. So in my opinion, a 94% tax and income over $5 million isn't really that bad of a thing. And another thing I would do is I would make it so if you win the lottery, you don't have to pay an income tax on it. Most countries, they do not accept that as a form of as funds that need to be taxed as an income tax. It shouldn't be the same way. It shouldn't be that way in the United States either. You didn't earn that money. It's money that you're already paying into the system by buying a lottery ticket. It encourages more people to play. And in a sense, if you believe more money circulating throughout the economy is really going to make things better, then why wouldn't you want someone to keep all their lottery winnings and spend it the way they want to? So that's my opinion. That's my income tax system. Take care.